maybe it was the work ethic back then. Maybe they just said, listen, you know, we have to work to get ahead. But so many people from that class went on to prominence. And I'm just amazed that there were so many, because there was quite a high percentage.
You know, my thought about that is that I'm wondering if the Depression affected, you know, growing up in the Depression. Like I said, my grandfather started working when he was in 8th grade, trying to not have to deal with that ever again. I think it sounds like their goal, and they wanted to do whatever they could to take care of their families and make sure that they never got into that type of life again, which I think they did a great job. Super job.
And as Mike pointed out, these are 2 mics. Please, if you have a question, please feel free to come up. And
how are you? I just want to say my name is David. I'm from New York City. Came down just for this event. Huge fan of Superman and a huge fan of. Thank you. A couple of things I wanted to ask you. With your vision that Siegel and Shuster had originally, what do you think in terms of the way Superman has evolved, in terms of, let's say, Superboy, Tom Welling, Brandon Rouse? Do you think it's evolved in a positive manner? And what changes have you noticed positively and negatively as far as the evolution of Superman?
Who wants to field that?
You know, it's in a sense, it's very interesting to see that each era, in its own way, has its own interpretation of Superman. However, the Superman mythos is always what the original was. And, you know, that without that original mythos, there's nothing. So no matter what slightly new spin, something, you know, whatever may be put on it, it goes back to its roots, and I think that it's the roots that have brought people back time and again, and it's the roots that millions love around the world.
You know, to me, because of I'll say because of my age, the only Superman that I know is Christopher Reeve. I think that forgive me, because I think I stopped watching Superman religiously, like my brother, who was a very big Superman fan, like bigger than me. I stopped watching it when he got hurt. Not because I couldn't see anyone taking his place. He was my Superman. For me, there couldn't be anyone else. But I think, in response to what you said, like my daughter's sitting in the audience, when she sees Superman returns, that's her Superman. You know what I mean? That's her Superman. I think Superman will continue for a long, long time. It doesn't, as long as someone appropriate plays him, you know, is typecast, I think that Superman will be fantastic. Will be Superman.
So your thoughts had to do with how we saw Superman, the different versions of it. If we liked it, didn't like it.
Right. In terms of like positively, some positive things or negative that you may have seen with it. Any changes per se?
Well, my thoughts about that has to do with every actor, obviously, every director, writer brings their own interpretation to Superman, and they put their own twists on it. I think Tom Welling in Smallville does a great job, and Brandon Routh did a good job. Of course, Christopher Reeve, he's going to be like a classic Superman, no doubt. But my thoughts go to what's Superman going to be for the 21st century as we get into the next era of technological development and the concerns about where the planet is going, the future of humanity. You know, are we going to be around in 1,000 years as a species? I mean, you know, I don't think 38 and 40, they didn't think about that. I mean, they had problems back then, but now, you know, we're thinking about, hey, you know, we're going to be around here several hundred years from now as a species because of these big things we're dealing with. So I see Superman as, I believe that the character is going to evolve to address the big issues that we have. Just the insecurities, you know, we realize how dangerous the cosmos is, right? Sitting out here, you hear science documentaries, you read science books on astronomy, And they talk about if a gamma ray burst goes off, it's going to wipe out the ozone layer. We're toast, right? And you know, you can't, or an asteroid is certainly going to hit us in another, you know, so many thousands years. Well, you can't sit around and worry about that. But Superman is going to evolve to, you know, as we become more sophisticated as a species, like technologically, and get out and to go into Mars missions and things like this. Superman is going to evolve, and I think there's always going to be something that kind of collectively maybe scares us out there about our own survival or what the future brings, and I think Superman is going to be the kind of collective guardian that's going to be there, and it's going to save us, but you know, ultimately kind of show us the way to save ourselves. That's how I see the character evolving. It's going to be, Superman's going to be with us always, 21st century and beyond, as long as we make it as a species, which we will.
Thanks for coming out, guys.
All that we've been discussing is very interesting, but I think you also are interested in the house, things that you don't know about the house, and about Jerry as a person. And he told me things about himself growing up, and you know, a lot of things that probably no one else ever knew. And so I'd like to share some of that with you.
Absolutely, please.
I think that, you know, you get to know a person more through some of the things that they do. So he told me that when he was a teenager, he had a part-time job in the summer with a printer. He used to deliver anything within walking distance. If somebody was having a sale or whatever, they didn't want to rent a house or whatever, and they'd have these signs. It was sometimes hand-painted, sometimes printed, depending on what the customer wanted. So he would deliver that, and he made very little money, but you know, satisfied the family that he was working. And because they were anxious for him to work so that he would, you know, be industrious and be able to earn a living when he grew up. And so, you know, and he didn't mind it. He loved the printer. He loved the smell of paint and ink and paper, and he enjoyed watching the stuff coming off the mill printed. And, you know, it was like being published. So, he told me that one day the printer was worried about a lot of boxes of typing paper that he had in the storeroom. It was very humid. He was afraid that it would ruin the paper, so he decided to have a sale. So he told Jerry that if he wanted to buy any typing paper, he was going to get a real good deal. So Jerry ordered 5 boxes. And the printer said, well, that's pretty heavy for you to walk all the way to Kimberly. So he said, why don't you leave it here? Saturday, I'm having a big delivery to Dunhill High School because they want to buy some of this paper. So he said, no, we'll have it delivered to you. So he said, okay. So Saturday, he's sitting on his porch waiting for the delivery. Pretty soon he sees a small truck coming along. So he runs into the house, and his mother is cooking dinner. And he says, Mom, I've got to have some money because I bought some paper, typing paper, and I'm going to have to pay for it. She said, Jerome, I'm cooking dinner. And he said, well, but I need it now. And she said, oh, well, all right, I'll turn off the stove, and I'll have to look for my purse. Too much, take it back. So she said, and he said, but I have this order. And so he came on the porch and he showed Jerry and the mother that he had an order form made out and signed by Jerry, but he had put the 5 for what he wanted next to a 0 in the next column. So 50 boxes. So his mother said, no, we can't have it. You got to take it back. You got to take it back. So he helped the man to re-deliver the boxes and paid it. And then he started taking the 5 boxes. He said, no, that's mine, that's mine. You can leave that one.
We have another question?